Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I hope you are all having an amazing week so far. Let's get straight into it. First, I just want to apologize for the late actual video being uploaded. I've had a busy morning, guys, so just bear with me in regards to today. I tried my best to, come and make this video this morning, but we did not manage it. So again, forgive me, but at least we're still getting it out and we're still obviously giving you guys the knowledge. So as you guys know, I'm just going to quickly go over before we do analyze the charts. Every area pretty much yesterday that I sent out was given. As you can see, it's circled here. We wanted the dollar to react from this demand area, which, as you guys can see, that's where our main move come from, which then obviously led me to GU, which I'll be truthful, as I said yesterday, the way that this was moving in this area was not comfortable enough for me to basically take a trade. And the reason for that is because, as you guys already know, we didn't have a significant break below or upwards. So this 1 hour low here and this 1 hour high, we didn't have that break above or the break below. So I wasn't confident enough in taking any trades. And we also had this liquidity sweep here and the liquidity sweep above as well. So again, I wasn't comfortable enough with obviously taking a trade on GU. But with that being said, EU was a lot more cleaner. So EU was a lot more cleaner. Oh, let me just get rid of that. And as you can see on here, from the trend that is going on, we had a clear, 1 hour structure. We had the lower highs and lower lows being made. And the area that I gave out on Euro USD yesterday was this main, obviously, area was mitigated by this. And then we also had what I given this 15-minute, it was a 30-minute, 15-minute supply zone up here, which, as you guys can see, reacted perfectly from this 15-minute candle. And that's when we had that movement down as well. Very choppy in these areas, but all you can see from here is that this area here, all these highs were taken out. So this was used as liquidity from obviously news, which then had that movement broke structure, and then you could have got another sell idea from this area here. So think about this. Did we take liquidity? Yes. Okay. Did we break structure? Yes. Okay. So 15-minute supply. So look, took liquidity. We already mitigated this area. We broke structure. We then come back up, took this liquidity, and we broke structure again down below here, which, as you can see, broke structure again below there. And then that's when it come back up to rebalance the market. And then we've now had that true movement down. So good areas of interest that happened yesterday in regards to EU. Then let's quickly go over to NU, because same thing as well. NU, I wasn't obviously going to look for anything because EU was my preferred trade analysis and idea that I had. I would have liked to see obviously a movement back up into this area, but obviously at that time it was too far away. So we identified this 1 hour supply area, which was just here. It was this 1 hour candle, but obviously I marked out both of these because, as you can see from this candle here, we was reacting from it at the time of me creating this video, the daily market video for Thursday. And as you can see, we had that perfect reaction from there as well, which has now broken that low as well. So that's what we had for NU. AU, nothing, as I said yesterday, nothing really stuck out to me. I would like to see it come back into this area. Nothing really is clean from yesterday. GJ, we obviously caught that from Wednesday, which then all we've come down is gone into this area so far. Now we've had that, significant move off. Let me just mark this out. Because we've come down to rebalance this market, we've got that 1 hour demand. If I go down to, let's say, the 30 and 15, it might be a bit more clearer. No, that's right. Just this big wick, which took the lows, all these lows, and mitigated this 4 hour demand area, and then obviously had that volume. That is our demand area, which, as you can see, we have now actually come back into. So with that being said, we have now had this downwards trend. As you can see, this was a high that we would have needed to be broken, and we've now officially broken that high. So that significantly tells me that we are obviously now from a lower time frame, we are back up in a uptrend. So what happened? We was having these, let me spread that out. We was obviously having these downwards movement, and then we kind of just like ranged in between here. We ranged between there, built up what? We built up a load of liquidity. Remember, everything is liquidity. So we built up that liquidity, and then the market's now come down, taken out all this liquidity, including that low, as you can see. And now we've had the true movement away from there and also a break of structure. So that's the liquidity taken. We've also had this break of the structure here, or change of trend, should I say, which means what? This means that we are now waiting for GJ to potentially pull back. So let's go to the 1 hour. So obvious areas that we'll be looking for from a 1 hour perspective is this last down candle here. This last down candle as a 1 hour demand area going into next week, unless something changes. But from today, I would like to see a movement down into this, get a reaction to carry on upwards as well. So that will be my next point of interest, my next demand zone. It looks pretty clean for the 1 hour. If I just quickly go to the 4 hour, let's just see. Yeah, it looks a lot more cleaner on the 1 hour. So again, as you can see, downtrend, we built up liquidity inducement. We then didn't break this high. So this was our last lower high, our last lower low. We ranged, built up liquidity, made people make decisions. When people make decisions, they're either buying or selling, which means what? There's more stop orders, there's more, liquidity for people, for institutions to take. Then what happens is then we come down, we lick the bottom, we liquidate the people who got in here, and then the market moves up with that true break of 1 hour structure or 1 hour change of trend. And now we're just waiting for this area now to be met and to move away from. So that is what we've got for GJ. Euro USD CAD, sorry. This is the area that we obviously mentioned, as you can see perfectly. We reacted from this 1 hour demand, and then we come into this area. We started to have this institutional candle off. So we went sideways, big candle off, and then we come back down to mitigate this area and move away. And then USD CHF, I wanted this area, but we didn't get it, and we've obviously just continued to trend. So let's get into the daily market outlook. I've kind of gone on a little bit of a, not a tangent, but yes, as you guys can see, let's go to the daily. Let's go to the daily and let's actually analyze this. So as you guys can notice, before yesterday, this was our lower high, and this was, higher high. This was our higher low. We've now got a new higher high. So we are in this range. It's a big range, of course. It is a big range from this low to this high. So what will tend to happen is we'll get a pullback in around the 50%, and then we'll create a high, and it will look a lot cleaner. It will look a lot cleaner. But as you guys can see from this point, if we put the tool on to see where the 50% will be from this low to this high, sorry, from this low to this high, we have met the 50% here. But if I drop down to the 4 hour, I can see clearly that from this break here, that will be another break structure from the 4 hour. So our next point of interest is around the 50% mark. It's around the 50% mark. So what does that mean? So I would like to see around here be met, around this area to be met from a 4 hour perspective, 4 hour demand area. That's what I would like to see. Of course, overall, we should come down into this, but what I would like to see refined is this area. Let's see if I drop down to the 2 hour or the 1 hour, if we can see something a bit cleaner. So again, obviously this wickage is what took out liquidity, and this candle is what caused this movement up and caused this break of structure. So naturally, if we do get a pullback, that's what I would like to see from, a 4 hour perspective. But also understand, and this is what most people naturally forget, when I talk about trend and what I'd like to see, let's say we're in let's say this is your let's say this is your trend. In fact, let's do the opposite because dollar is on its way up. Understand that if this is what the 4 hour is doing, so if this is what the 4 hour is doing, understand that on the 1 hour, the 4 hour looks like this, but on the 1 hour. So that is the same as this, but that is 4 hour leg, and this is what it looks like on the 1 hour. So understand that obviously from a 1 hour perspective, when we are expecting a retracement back from four, sorry, let's say we've got a demand area here that we want to see met from a 4 hour perspective, understand that from a 1 hour, we also have, the demand areas that have either been mitigated or they haven't been mitigated. So just keep this in mind because it doesn't necessarily mean that we're always going to come back to a 4 hour demand area because of the 1 hour structure. So again, what I mean by this is, so let's say, and this is what is important about 50%. So let's say from this to here, let's say we've got this demand area here. Sorry, it should be 1 hour demand, and this should be a 1 hour demand. So let's say that we've got this area here. It's either at the 50% or this area here that's at the 50%. And let's say it's not been mitigated. All we can expect is, okay, we eventually are going to get that change of trend on the 1 hour and the 15 minute. We're going to get that change of trend. And now it's like, okay, I don't want to be really looking for buys unless we get at least to the 50%. So could we see the 50% met and that's where we move? Or are we going to come into one of the 1 hour demand areas here and have that true movement away? So always make sure that you realize that because a lot of people have, okay, I'm only going to do this 4 hour demand. It has to come way lower into the Fibonacci 886 area, 786 area, so on and so on. Not necessarily. This is why it's important to understand that. Let's say this has been mitigated and this has been mitigated. Let's say this has been mitigated and this has, and this is a fresh demand and it's below the 50% of the 4 hour range. Understand that that's where we can get that movement off. So yes, from a 4 hour perspective, let's lead it into this. From a 4 hour perspective, our leg is obviously a big leg, a massive, massive leg, but also understand that this higher low here to here is the same thing for this 4 hour structure. Now, with that being said, let's drop down to the one. So as you guys can see from a 1 hour perspective, we obviously have everything has been mitigated. We have these here. You can see the 1 hour trend within the 4 hour structure. So when I analyze the markets, understand that right now, I will not be looking at selling, the dollar and obviously buying vice versa, unless we break, this level of demand area from a 1 hour, this level of a 1 hour demand area. Unless we break that, that's when we now know, okay, I now need to be prepared to look for my potential area. Now, first thing that I want you to understand is I can naturally be drawn to this area here, this big candle here, this candle from a 4 hour, or you can refine it from a 1 hour perspective to this candle. Now, that actually stands out more to me than this area. So because I've refined it, I'm not worried about this one right now. This is my first objective. And the reason for that is because this area has got imbalance and we've got a lot of institutional move up here. So with that being said, for me, I will want to see the market rebalance into at least this area to see if we can get that movement up. And also just to confirm from this low to this high, is it around the 50% mark? Yes, perfectly around the 50% mark, which is another confirmation. So making sure that you guys also realize that. As well, a little bit of obviously training for you guys there. But these are my areas from a 1 hour perspective. We obviously are in this demand area. Once we break that, we will want to be looking to see if we can get a reaction to buy the dollar and see the dollar go up from here. So going into the other pairs, So as you guys can see, we are still in between this range here from this higher low to this higher high. But as you can see, the cells are in control. So from a 4-hour perspective, we obviously have this range here to this range here. So with that being said, naturally, I would want to see the markets eventually come up into at least this area to rebalance and move away from. So to rebalance and move away from. So I would like to see the market come up into here next week, and then that's where we can see that continuation of the trend. That is initially what I would like to see. Why? This last candle, this is the last buy candle before this movement down, and this is a lot of volume down. We also have some sort of imbalance left as well in there. So the market will always seek liquidity and also look to rebalance the market. So with that being said, that is what I'm expecting. But if we go to the 1 hour, same thing as what I've just been teaching you guys. Understand that the 1 hour has its own trend within the 4. So you can see we have, the lower highs, the lower lows. We have the lower high, we have the lower low. We have the lower high, we have the lower low. We have the lower high, we have the lower low. So right now for GU, the main priority is following the 1 hour structure. And the 1 hour structure has actually just been mitigated, which would be this 1 hour supply area. So this 1 hour supply area is key. I'm not worried about this 4 hour right now, because why do I need to worry about the 4 hour when the 1 hour has not changed? So 1 hour, if you look, what can we see? Well, we can see the fact that, let's follow this here. Obviously, this big candle was a 1 hour supply. Did we mitigate it? Yes, we mitigated it here. Let's make that green or black. Mitigated it here. Okay. This big candle here was my next one. Did we mitigate it? No. This would have been my next refined 1 hour supply because we broke structure again. Did we mitigate it? Pretty much coming almost to it. So now, because we broke structure again, our next point is this one. So with that being said, this is the main zone, or this will be the next zone. If we break above this 1 hour area here, this 1 hour lower high, let me just get it up, 1 hour lower high. That's when you then need to be looking at the markets from a buying perspective, up into the 4 hour trend, looking for this market to move downwards. So hopefully that makes sense. But for now, these are all I'm worried about. Is this an early inducement? We're before New York. So right now, are we going to be seeing an early inducement? So what I would like to see right now going into New York for Friday, I won't be trading today, is I'd like to see early sellers be taken out. So I'd like to see that people are selling the market here. We have not broken from a 15-minute, we have not broken any of these lows. So again, 15-minute demand is still in control inside of the 1 hour supply, inside of the 1 hour downtrend. So what I want to see happen is if this creates a new higher low, we come up, go deeper into this area, take out the early sellers, the inducement candles. Then we have that break of this low, and then we participate in selling the market down. So again, if this breaks above this to take out the liquidity, that will become the low probability. That probability will become the low. Then we need to see a shift in the trend, and that's where we're looking to sell in from this area going into New York. So that is what I've got for GU. Let's go over to EU. I don't want to make this too long for you guys. Let's stick to the dollar pairs, more so GBP, USD, and your USD for today. And then let's not overcomplicate because it's Friday as well. And I've gone over a little bit of training for you guys. So from a daily perspective, what can we see? Well, from a daily perspective, we was in this range from here to here. We had the higher low and a higher high. Now for me, we have changed trend from a 4 hour daily to this area, which is now a 4 hour lower low, and we've had a break on here. So now my thoughts are that your USD has a lot more downwards sell movement. So again, I'm only interested in selling this market from Euro USD. So from Euro USD, what can we see? Well, we can see a clear downwards 1 hour trend. All these areas are what I've been giving out that are mitigated. The only one that's not been mitigated is this area here, which does have imbalance. So if we're overall 4 hour bearish, this will probably be my last area. Unless if we break above the 1 hour, I think we could react from here, and that's where we can get that change to continue down. 4 hour. But what do we do? That's the 4 hour perspective. From a 1 hour perspective, we've got to play what we see. So what we see from a 1 hour is this beautiful downtrend that's happening. This beautiful downtrend. We have obviously the continued downtrend that is happening right now. My next point, and obviously, hopefully you guys can see, let me just get rid of that. We obviously have the low here, which is also 1 hour low. And then we also have this area here, which is our 1 hour lower high. Where's it gone? 1 hour lower high. We are currently rebalanced this market right now. So from a 1 hour perspective, the one candle that draws to me is this candle here as a 1 hour supply for movement off. If we go down to the 15-minute, what do we need to see? Well, for instance, now the market is slowing down, the volume in the market is slowing down. So people now are making decisions. What happens when people make decisions? When people make decisions, people make mistakes. Because understand, New York opens very, very soon. So this is prior to New York. And we are still in this uptrend. We are still in this uptrend. Again, if we break above, we are going to need to see a break of the candle in order for us to understand, yes, okay, we're on a downtrend. So for me right now, I want to see this carry on up. I want to see, let's say this is going to be our valid higher low. I want to use this as liquidity. And then with that being said, I then want to see a move down to break this low. And then we want to carry the trend on downwards from this area because, as I said, this is our 1 hour lower high, and this is our 4 hour and 1 hour lower low. So make sure that you guys are following the markets. Again, I am reminding you guys that it is Friday. So, understand, and it is mid-December as well. So just understand that we potentially might not get any moves today, but if we do, this is what I am looking out for. And also make sure when you're on the 15-minute, because a few people ask me, make sure that you're also just understanding that you're following the trend. Like, what is your 15-minute uptrend? So as you can see, let's say this breaks above here, and let's say we get another one. This, you don't have to go from this low to validate that it's broke. Go from this low. And then when we get that, that's when you now know that you need to be looking for that supply area from a 1 hour to then sell down. And that will literally give you everything that you need, every confirmation, so on and so on and so on. So Euro USD, that is what we have got. And I'm going to leave it at that for today. We're going to go over, obviously, the dollar we have done, and we're going over GU and EU. That is pretty much it for today, guys, because it's Friday, because I would rather let the markets do whatever the markets are going to do. And then come Monday morning, we can refresh our mind, and then we can analyze every single pair for you guys to be fresh, ready to tackle the markets on a Monday. But also, I just want to, mention that I'm excited, man. Like all these areas that I've been giving out to you guys, I know that you see the value in it. I know that you can probably gain a lot more experience from listening into me. And yeah, man, I'm excited for 2025. I've got obviously a few exciting things in the pipeline. If you are wanting to be mentored by me personally, don't hesitate in reaching out and dropping me a message because that is what I'm here for. I want to see as many people win. I have this ego in a good way that I want to see people like me win. I have no GCSEs. I have no school qualifications. I have no life qualifications. So I was not destined to become a good trader, become a success, become someone in this life. I just knew I was meant for more. I just knew that I was destined for more. And I fell upon trading and I absolutely fell in love with it. And now I am falling in love with helping others just like me, become more profitable, become more experienced, and become an elite trader inside of this market. Most importantly, become a profitable trader inside this market. So, guys, as always, I appreciate every single one of you. It is Friday. I hope you have an amazing, Friday night. I hope you have an amazing weekend. Use this time to backtest your strategy. Use this time to, put in the hours. As we always say, 10,000 hours, you will then become a pro. And that is so, so true. The more hours that are on these charts, the better that you will become. So guys, have an amazing weekend. Take care and God bless.